All right, class. So today for our assignment, we're going to be reviewing narrative elements for our introduction in our lesson. So a personal narrative is a story about a moment in your own life. You are the author. You are the main show. You're the main actor in your own life. So when authors such as Amy Tan explain a moment in her life, they're really focusing on that one event. So that one event that is the main focus. Again, a personal narrative focused on a single event or a moment in your own life. Now, a fictional narrative is a little bit different. So a fictional narrative is a story about a person in a made-up character's life, okay? So this is a little bit different. So think about fiction is fake, okay? Fiction is fake. So it's a story about a moment in a made-up character's life. So you create the characters, the setting, the conflict, but it should still focus on a single event or moment because it is a short story. So our focus is when you start writing your own personal narrative, you need to understand that you're not just creating your story, you need to focus on a single moment or very few moments. I don't want your whole life story. I want to know one moment in your life that's significant to you. Okay? So in a personal narrative, an example is I will tell the story of the moment when I forgot my lines while performing on a stage. Now, in a personal narrative, we're really focusing on the personal narrative. This is me, right? I'm using nouns like I, me, we to describe my moment of how I felt while forgetting my lines on stage. Now, a fictional narrative, right, is I'm still writing a story, but it's not about my life. What I'm doing is I'm writing about a fake character and telling their story, right? I'm using a fake character. So instead of me writing the lines and forgetting my lines on stage, I'm going to make up a character named Jenny, and I'm going to say, I'm pretending I'm Jenny writing the story, and I say I will tell the story of the moment when my character got lost, right? So it's a little bit different here. You're still using the same pronouns, I, me, we, in a narrative, but there's differences. Personal is personal to the author. That's their story. Fictional is made up, okay? All right, so again, we still focus on point of view between first person and third person. So all narratives are first person. Okay, so example is, I never thought that owning a dog would be so challenging. When I brought Fluffy home for the first time, she destroyed my favorite pair of shoes within 5 minutes. After I found the damage, I locked her in her crate. Now, in first person, you can see that I use I. Still used I when I explained what happened. I used she to describe my dog Fluffy, and I'm still using I, right? I, me, my. So I have my right here. I, my. So that's all first person. Now, third person is talking relating to somebody else, right? So think of Pooh Bear and the other narrative. So we're going to be talking about somebody else. So we're going to use words like their names, Amber, she, right? Or Fluffy. So Amber used to think that owning a dog would be easy, but when she brought Fluffy home for the first time, she discovered she was wrong. Fluffy had destroyed her favorite pair of shoes. When Amber saw them, she locked them in her crate. So this third person is just to understand that we don't use I, me, or my's in third person. Now, narrative elements, these are the main characteristics of what a narrative has. So narratives has 5 main elements that apply to all narratives. And these are the main ingredients in a story. This is what happens in all stories, okay? Especially in narrative. So number one, that there's characters. 2, there's the setting. 3, there's the conflict. 4, there's the plot. And 5, there's a theme. So conflict is when both narrative types need to focus on a conflict that the main character faces. Okay? Without a conflict, a story wouldn't be that much fun to read because we like drama. So every story worth reading has a conflict, something that the narrator is coming against, right? Something that causes them trouble. So if there's no conflict, there's no tension in the story. So a setting, if we remember what a setting is where do different scenes in your story take place? So when we're thinking about setting, that's the question that we need to think about. What are we doing? So where's that what, when in a story, that place, right? What time it is, what happened, where in the story it took place. So when you start writing your setting, you want to paint a picture of the scene. And that's what good writers do. They paint a picture. They create a mood, so an overall feeling. That's what a mood is, an overall feeling in a story. They establish context of the story. So this is very critical. You do the time and the location, right? Let me know what's happening. An Amy Tan story, it was around Christmas time, right? Christmas Eve, Christmas dinner. Time and location. All right, remember what we talked about, that conflict, that drama in the story? So what problem or challenge does the main character in the story face? So our goals as future writers is that we want to eventually create that tension and interest in your story by making readers doubt that your characters will be successful. So you want to create a problem that motivates and drives the action of your characters. So again, conflict is that problem that the main character faces. Now, a plot, right? A plot is how that problem is introduced. So where's that beginning, middle, and end in a story? Okay, so what steps does the character take to solve the problem? How is the problem solved? We as writers want to create a series of events that show how the character strives to overcome the problem and conflict in a story. And that creates a plot that feels original and avoids cliches, something that's overused. Now, a theme is common in all narratives. A theme is, what does the story seek to tell us about life or human nature? What's the message of the story? So when we're thinking of a story, we want to think in the future, what's my message? Is it about love? Is it about happiness? Is it about finding my identity? What's our theme here? And when we write our own story, that means we want to find something more for the readers than surface level enjoyments in the plot. We want to figure out the meaning, the lesson, right? So don't make your theme or message obvious or too repetitive. Now, all narratives has a change. Personal narratives tend to depict a change in the character. So in the beginning, in like The Jacket, Gary Soto felt that he had to be the best in wearing that good jacket and feeling like he relates to other people, right? In the end, we noticed there wasn't much change. He tried to fight that, though. He tried to fight having that jacket. And we know that he really talked it over with his parents and felt that he wanted that jacket, right? And at the end, he realized and reflected, nothing really changed. I just dealt with it. So sometimes change can be that, or sometimes change can be that they learned a lesson, just like when we think about the main character, Amy Tan, that her mom helped her give her valuable advice, right? So your beliefs may change, Your skill level may change, and the way you understand the world, your mood or habits may change. So it's all about change in a story. And often characters learn something from that change as well. Okay, so those are the main elements in a narrative. I also want to go over your quizzes. So if you go to your quizzes, there's something else that I also wanted you to see. You need to get that slide in. But there are also different types of conflict. So when we're thinking about conflict, we're seeing that external conflict, external means outside, that means that there's certain conflicts that the narrator has to deal with that's outside of themselves, right? So for example, the coach says that Pip isn't allowed to join the cross-country team because he's a robot, right? So that problem that he has is that the coach is not letting him join the team because he's a robot. So Pip will have to struggle against the coach if he wants to join the team. Now, an internal conflict is something that happens inside of ourselves. Okay, so in means inside. So think about internal as inside yourself. So internal conflict. Pip can't decide if he should join basketball or swimming. So this is a problem inside of Pip. Pip will have an internal struggle to decide what is best for him. All right. Again, the outline of the plot is that clear beginning. So in the beginning, we find out who the main characters are, what's that setting, what is the problem. We figure out the middle, how does the character try to solve the problem, and we figure out the end. Is the problem resolved? Did we fix the problem? And how did the character change? So reflect, why was this event important or meaningful in the life of the character? Okay, so great job, everyone. It's also important that you do your assignment today. So your assignment is when you go to Fish Cheeks Narrative Elements Worksheet, you're going to go ahead and you're going to click, you're going to read the story, and you're going to identify the plot. So you're going to answer the following questions. Who are the main characters in Fish Cheeks? When did the story take place? Where is it located? That's part of the setting. What is the problem in the story? What is the internal conflict? So what's happening inside of the character that's causing them trouble? What is the external conflict? What's happening outside of the story that the character is dealing with? Is it maybe other characters? Maybe it's something else like a tornado. What is it? Okay. Then you're going to explore the middle section of the plot. How does the character try to solve the problem? And the character tries to solve the problem by blank. Now, the ending section of the plot describes how the problem is solved. So did the author learn anything from the story? Let me know. So you would put in the sentence frame, well, the problem is not resolved because of what? And then you reflect. Why was this event important or meaningful in the life of Amy Tan, the character? This event was important because of blank. At the end, you have a few narrative elements, reflections. So this is where you answer questions. What is the point of view of the story? So then you give me an idea what the point of view is. How does the narrator feel during the story? So how did she feel overall? And how does the narrator's family behave during the dinner? Right? How did they behave? And lastly, you're going to answer the question, how does Robert's family behave during dinner? So we're comparing what her family did, Amy Tan's family, how they behaved, and then we're comparing to how Robert behaved. Okay, so we're going to identify those elements, and next time we meet in class, we're going to put these elements in a story plot. Okay, all right, great job, everyone. And that is your assignment and your lesson for the day.
tell me, let me guess. Brad, Jack, Brody. Let's go with Brody. What are your intentions for my sister? Should we discuss it down?